Yo, what up, guys? Welcome to another replay analysis where we are watching a Grandmaster level Zerg versus Terran player. We have a roughly 5k Zerg in the name of Warlock X, who is the guy we're going to be helping out today, versus Pure Legacy, the 6k Terran with third-party mods all over the place. Let's figure it out. Alright, we got an overlord going across the map right now. Here we go. Good job. So far, so good, Warlock. Okay. Oh, so you're playing Submarine. This map is actually really hard. This map is... I would honestly recommend, if you're not an all-in player, veto this map. But I mean, if you do like to all-in, though, you don't gotta veto this map. This map caters to all-ins a lot. It's so tiny. It's like Bloodbath. Alright. Okay. Are you 16 hatching this? You are. That's fine. I don't mind then. The way you moved your drone, I don't mind it. It's fine. You 16 hatch against Terran. That's not a big deal. I'm okay with it. If you made a 17th drone, I would have been like, why did we send that one so early? But you're totally good. So far, so good. Okay, you're going up to 18 drones. You're going to rally your first. Wait, what's this? Oh, you drone scout. Ooh, look at you. You're scouting proxies. Okay. I'm not going to question it, only because if you feel like you play somebody and you're predicting a proxy, we'll just say this. For anyone out there who doesn't understand what this means, he's obviously scouting for a proxy right now, and if he catches a proxy, you could literally deny the SCV while building the proxy, potentially, or you could just have an easier setup against the proxy. It increases the chances that if it was a proxy, you're going to win, or you're going to come out ahead and be great. If it is not a proxy, though, all you're doing is you're kind of slowing down your own economy just by a little bit. It is slowing you down. It's not free to do this. So it's really a judgment call as a player, and if you prefer to scout like this, I'm okay with it. I would say, however, I really like how your first Overlord is going directly across the map. And I like how your second Overlord is chilling at the natural. Because if it was a proxy and you guess incorrectly, at least, like if you're still like, scouting the map and you're like, I don't see a proxy yet, at least the first Overlord is going to reveal. If you haven't seen anything by the time the Overlord gets there, you'll at least know what he's doing. Because your first Overlord will tell you, oh, it's a natural and it's a barracks in the high ground or whatever. And if it was a proxy, but let's say you picked, it's 50% chance where you go the wrong way, and it's actually like over here, or like up here or some shit, or like over here or right there, and your drone goes the wrong way and it goes all the way down here first, then there could be a bunker that goes down while you don't realize it. But because you leave your Overlord here, just for a little bit, you don't have to leave it here all game, but just for now when you're kind of blind, that's nice. Honestly though, if I could critique anything, if you're worried about proxy bunker, I would say leave your Overlord like right there. And the reason why is because if it is proxy bunker, 100% you would see the whole area. Right now you're kind of blind to that right there. So that is a little scary. If there was an SCV that came over here and it came up this way, and let's say you put a bunker like right here, or let's say he put a bunker like he thinks that you're not going to come down and defend the natural because he didn't see an Overlord, and he puts a bunker like right back here, and he puts like 4 Marines in it, and it's like just 2 racks proxy, and it's not even like a full investment, and it just becomes a problem. Like, unlikely, I'll say this, unlikely, because most of the time Terrans don't want to put the bunker near the high ground ramp because Queens could kill it from the high ground, which would suck, or a Spine could kill it from the high ground. But in general, it's still kind of scary to have part of your natural fogged out. So if your Overlord was here instead, and Marines do come over and start shooting your Overlord, you could easily fly it over the cliff and it wouldn't die. It would not die. So that's the only thing I would change about what we've done so far. Also, your larva could have been used a little bit faster there, but that's not the hugest deal. Not the biggest deal. It was like the first larva could have been used probably like 3 seconds faster. That's about it. Otherwise, good shit. And you've actually scouted no proxy, which is exactly why I would have said I really like your first Overlord going to his base right away. and you see racks, racks. You're playing what I literally just played. You are playing the exact same opener I just played. If you ever see double racks at the start of the game, and they're both blocking the natural, this is literally like, it's like 98% chance that it's Reapers. It looks like it's supposed to be Reapers. It should be Reapers. If it's not Reapers, it could be a guy who's like, I'm going to go for a gasless natural with Rax wall off. That could happen, but here's the problem why that's probably not going to happen is because if someone in GM or someone in higher leagues, and again, this is GM, but if someone in a higher league was like, you know what I'm going to do? Gasless expand with Barracks wall off. All that would happen is that if you show up at their base with Ravagers, they would just die. Like, how the fuck did they stop that? If you just go, oh, you know what? Fuck, I'm not even going to go for Zergling speed. I'll just go for Ravagers. You could literally kill the bunker because it can't be repaired through a lot of Ravager shots. And then Ravagers don't do Marines without stim or without combat shield don't do shit to Ravagers. Ravagers move faster and they have more auto attack range, and they also regenerate. Even if they ever get shot, they regenerate. And they also kill Marines super fast. 3 hits from Ravager, Marine dies. So that's why no Terran at high level will ever fucking do that. Makes no sense. The only way it might work is if they have like a really fast tank. Like it's like a barracks wall off with a really fast tank. But then the question would be asked then, why the fuck wouldn't you just do a standard build? Because there's so many ways you could play a more efficient style against Zerg than going for Rax wall off, gasless Marines bullshit, blah blah blah. There's just way better builds, and players in higher level kind of know this. They do better builds. So the only time you'd ever see Marines and shit would probably be someone from like fucking Gold League or like Platinum League or Silver or something like that, where someone doesn't understand what could kill you. They just think that they're being creative and doing their own build and blah blah blah. So anyways, looks like Reaper, right? The reasons why we kind of ruled out why it wouldn't be Reaper. It makes no sense for a higher level player to do that like this. So first things first, you actually are not scouting the natural. Your Overlord has no reason to not be right here. There's no reason why it shouldn't be right there. Okay? And if you put it right there, you would see the lip or the very corner edge of the potential natural, because right now you actually can't tell when he takes one. And knowing when or not, or either when a Terran takes a natural or when he doesn't ever take a natural, that is a big difference of feeling the amount of pressure that can hit you, because you could actually go surpass 3 racks all in with mass Reapers if you want to. Like Terrans could literally go, oh, you know what? I'm going to go 5 racks Reaper now on one base. That is very realistic. So if he never takes a natural, that is a very big possibility of what could happen. Now, going back to your build, okay? So overall, your scout's pretty good, other than you don't scout the natural. I really want you to eventually. Spine crawler, incorrect. Don't do a spine crawler. I highly disapprove of this. The only time you ever need a spine is if you open up gasless. If you ever go, you know what? I'm doing a current gasless meta against Terran, and I'm going 3 hatch super fast. Then I would say, yes, you need a spine crawler, and you need to put this spine crawler at the entrance to whatever base needs to be, like the entrance to where Reapers will go. So a spine crawler there would be great, and a spine crawler there would be great. If this was gasless. But it is not gasless for you. You're taking speed. So instead what you need to do is you need to not make a spine. You need to save that money to make money. Don't delete the drone essentially. Mine minerals with it still. Make queens and make zerglings. And the biggest thing you're going to be doing is, if the Terran is kind of sloppy and he like runs into your base right away, and let's say he gets like crazy and he loses his Reaper right away, I would say a lot of pressure is already off of you, and you don't need to make mass queens. You can make like up to 3 or 4 queens and stop. And the reason why that would make sense is so that you can have 1 queen per hatchery up to 2 or 3 bases. Ideally, you want to be going up to 3 bases, and then have 1 more queen to like creep spread, and that'd be super nice. If the Reaper doesn't die, and he like, let's say he harasses you a little bit, he maybe kills like 2 Zerglings or some shit like that, and he backs off, and he's actually getting damage done, and he keeps the Reapers alive, what you want to do then is you want to keep making queens, because it's a little bit more intimidating, and there's a bit more of a power swing for the opponent. And the point is either way, you're going to go to about 4 queens, okay? Either way. I want to make sure you guys know this. I'm not telling you to make like 10 queens. Either way, you're going to make like 4 queens. But if you lose a couple lings early, and the Reaper is well microed, make 4 queens right away. So 2 sets of 2, like one after the other. And you make them immediately. So you have the queens to buffer the difference a little bit to help you give that a little bit of power early on. If you kill the first Reaper, you could actually make just one queen and you could take a faster third base. Either way, you want to take a third base. But if the Terran's sloppy and loses the Reaper, take a third faster. If he's not sloppy and he's good with the Reaper, take a third later. Either way, you take a third, though. You can either proxy it or you could take a normal third base. And also, when the first two queens spawn, double creep tumor and you do it safely. So we'll talk about that in a second. If you double inject, that's wrong. Against this build specifically. So see how he's doing well with his Reaper. He just killed a drone. Good micro there by you. Every ling is super important here. You almost squeezed out that Reaper kill right there, but he just killed. He weakened a few lings, and he just killed a drone. This is the moment when I would say, make two queens back to back again. Make two queens like right away, right now. Now here's a huge thing. Huge thing. Number one, identify where the Reaper jump-in spot in your base is. On this map, there it is. Number two, identify the other entrance into your base. That's not the Reaper jump-in spot. It's right here. So wherever he isn't, you make a creep tumor. So right now, he isn't at the Reaper jump spot. So this queen should right now immediately. It could have already had 5 seconds to do this or so, because it has 30 energy right now. You could have ran over here and put a tumor down like right here. And this tumor would finish and it would spread creep all the way like that. And you'd be covering the entire Reaper jump spot. This is fucking important because it allows lings to run down Reapers and surround them repeatedly. That way you don't have to wait for him to enter scary territory, which is like your mineral line. You can kill him further. Every creepy tumor you get that's successful, you can kill him further away from your base. It's very, very, very important. Now, if the Terran goes up into your main base, perfect opportunity to throw a creep tumor down at your natural. Or if the Terran is not going to go to your main base and instead he's going to camp your natural, I would say hold on to your fucking your energy for a little bit and just save it for transfuse, because you might need that as well. Like, don't just throw down. Like, if it's only one Reaper and it's a normal game, you could totally throw down the creep tumor and then have your lings go forward and push the Reaper back with the queen, and you could always get your creep tumor down as long as you put it in a safe area of your creep, not on the very edge. But if it's multi-Reaper and you know it's a Reaper all in, do not try to fight the Reapers until you have speed and shove creep in his face. So if he wants to sit here, if this dude wants to just sit in front of your natural the entire time, do not try to put a tumor down in his fucking face. Instead, you can sneak creep. So this creep tumor could have gone here. Second one could have leaped over to like right there. Third one could leap over to like right there while he's just camping the natural. And what that would do is it would give you creep all over the fucking side of your main base so that this Reaper jump spot is just worthless. And then creep, if you put a tumor like right there, creep would spread from like right there all the way to like right there. And you would have half the front of your natural covered in creep. And then what you could do is if the Terran ever overcommits, you can always surround him on creep, but you never ever want to chase him off creep. And a lot of times what'll happen is a Terran will feel the pressure where if they aren't getting damage done in one of your bases, they will rotate to a different one because they have less bases than you. Like, you're mining off multiple mineral lines. So the feeling of going, okay, let's just sit here in the front of the natural the entire time is not a great choice. So we'll keep talking about it, but ideally, again, the whole point I'm trying to make here is creep good against Reaper. Super good. It's the most important part of all of this. So you have no creep here. That's super important. You need to put it there. You have no creep still. I don't know what your queens are doing. So you, like, for instance, if you put a creep tumor down at like 27 energy, that shit would be done already. And you would already have creep spreading to like right there. The fact that you're on the wall is nice, but look at this. Terran just left. How early did Terran leave? Terran leave, and you can see it with the overlord. So spreading overlords like this is very important. Good job on that. Terran leaves right now. You can see him leaving. Your queen right now should be putting a creep tumor down right there. Right fucking now. You should be putting a tumor down right now. It's an 11-second build time. So from 2:55, we'll check the timer, okay? From 2:55 to 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Is he going to be here still? 3 minutes and 6. Let's just speed it up really quick. Creep tumor will be done right now. And the creep would now spread from here to like there. And that is now all that green area that's over the creep. That's not just, that's grass that would have become creep. And now next time he pushes this area, you have more room to work with to surround his ass. And then if he leaves again, put another tumor down. And then all it takes is one good surround. Just one surround and you win the game. When you have speed on creep. So you're totally missing the beat on creep here. He jumps in your main. This is pretty normal. This is also why your queen needs to be in position. Your queen is not supposed to be injecting hatcheries. Your queen should be at the fucking creep area. Like if your queen spawned the creep and you had a queen here too, there's a very good chance you could have killed the Reaper. Either that or he would have turned around right away. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if he goes like this, if you have the high ground covered, okay? And you have a queen right now that's ranged, standing like right here, and it already is shooting a Reaper the second it jumps up here. The queen's fucking attack speed is pretty fast. It's 0.71. And it hits for 8 damage a shot. Okay? So every 2 seconds, essentially, it's doing 32 damage. Because you got 24 damage. I said the wrong number. You're doing 24 damage every 2 seconds. 8, 16, 24. And it's 0.71 attack speed. So it's a little bit over 2 seconds. It's actually like 2.13. But you get the point. Roughly every 2 seconds, you're doing almost half the fucking health of a Reaper. With just one queen. So if he jumps up the cliff, and there's a queen going just smashing his face in, there's a good chance he's going to turn around. Otherwise, if he doesn't turn around, high chance he loses a Reaper before he gets away from your lings. Super high chance. And if you have creep here, your lings will be on top of the Reapers like crazy. They'll be keeping up with them relatively. They'll be up in their face constantly. And your queen will be able to also not only stand here, but it'll be able to turn around and go back and chase the Reapers as well. And if the Reapers commit into your main base and they're like running around like this, or like running this way all the way around the top, you should immediately grab your second queen and put it on the fucking exit. So you can once again catch the Reapers as they try to run past another queen. So if the Reapers go around like this and they come around down, and again, he's pushing you with 4 Reapers. This is not 14 Reapers. It's 4. So if you kill one of those Reapers, that's a huge amount of his damage, right? And if he goes all the way around the main base and he comes down, let's say the Reapers are softened up a little bit because they ran through some lings. So now the Reapers are like 40 hit points, 48 hit points, 52 hit points. They're a little bit yellowish. And your next queen starts smacking his ass because you can see all the vision in your main base. Your spawning pool and your gas reveal the high ground here. So you can see it. And if your queen's here and you smack his ass, if he jumps down into the queen, you're going to hit him a few times and you might kill a Reaper. If he decides to run further past you and go all the way to the right, this queen that was chasing him could zone him again. You could like try and take the queen and run this queen from like here back to the fucking cliff, and you might be able to hit the Reapers like one more time maybe before he jumps off the cliff again if your creep goes all the way to the end. Maybe. Reapers are pretty fast though, so if Reaper is here and your queen is here, I would not be surprised if the Reapers go all the way down into the ramp before your queen can really get there from like there. You get the point though, like you're just zoning him in your base essentially. And you would have creep that is just spreading because if he disregards your creep, you spread it on him. You get more of it. But now that you don't have a queen there, like check this out. Watch this. Just one more time. I'm gonna tell you how many queen attacks could have hit there. And this is why he can't do what he just did. Watch this. The second he jumps up, right now, 259. If your queen was here, right now, 259 is when it starts. So how long does he run around in circles right here from 259? And I want to let you know if your queen was here, he wouldn't do this because he would back off because otherwise his Reapers would die. Like a Reaper guaranteed would die or more. But watch how long he stands here. 259 to what? Okay. So we'll just stop it there for now. He is going in your base pretty hard because he's going to start breaking you a little bit because you just softened up a lot of your lings. All your lings got kind of fucked up. But in that 10-second interval where he kind of took control of your area of the base here, how many times can a queen attack if it does 0.71 attack speed in a series of 10 seconds? That's something like that's like 13 attacks. Or like 14 attacks. right? Someone could do the math on that. What's 0.71 times 14? It's around 10. Now, 14 attacks, multiply that by 8, and that's how much damage your fucking queen would have done. So that's 120 damage. Or no, wait, what? It's 108 damage. 108 damage. Right? No, what the I'm stupid. I can't do math at all. It's 112. Jesus. Don't judge me. I'm sorry. Math on stream's hard. 112 damage. 112 damage is basically 2 fucking Reapers. Entire health bar. See what I mean? Like, the queen is so fucking powerful here. So, that's very, 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 very huge. The only time I judge you is when you don't say hi back. Hi, Jaren. I'm doing a YouTube video right now. Thank you. What's up, man? And this is all becoming a problem. This is all becoming a problem because of 2 reasons. Number 1, you never gave yourself creep to have mobility. That's number 1. Number 2, you made a spine crawler. And what has this spine crawler done the entire time? 0. It's done legit nothing so far. So that's taking your money down a bit. You're losing drones for that, and you invested into it when you didn't need it. And then your lings as well haven't done shit, because every time he's fighting you, he's forcing you to come off creep, and when you're off creep and it's slow lings versus Reapers, he is just killing unit after unit after unit after unit, which is why you've lost 12 units already to this point. This is way too much death already. You should never, ever, ever have to fight Reapers off creep. Ever. That's the only way that should ever happen, is if you fucked up. If you fucked up if you fucked up your creep timber, sorry. If you planted your creep timber and he killed it, and that was like, oh, whoops, I let my creep timber die, then yes, you fucked up. And again, you still haven't scouted the natural. So let's look at this really fast. Can we see if there's a natural there? There is one. And if you knew this was happening, that's going to tell you there's not 5 racks. If there is or isn't 5 racks, it changes how all in you need to be with your lings. If there is no expansion and you just literally see Reaper, 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 and it's like, okay, it was growing at sets of 3 before, now it's growing at sets of 5, 5, 5, 5. That shit is super all in, and if you start making drones, you'll fucking die. You will die. However, if you actually saw the natural, this guarantees there is no 5 racks. It guarantees that it's still on 3 racks, and he's going to go 3 racks Reaper into an expansion and start macroing into like Marines and other shit. So if you knew it was 3 racks because you saw the natural, as soon as you have speed, all you have to do is, this is the hardest part to do. This is what I was saying in my own game. It's the hardest part is making a judgment call based on how many lings you feel like you need. And if he keeps making Reapers, you need to keep making lings. If he stops making Reapers, you can stop making lings and go back. So the second he starts making Marines, you can start making drones. And if you just wait on creep, you guaranteed will win that. But here's the crazy thing. If you follow the concept of fighting on creep only, you'd win that scenario. But if you keep fighting off creep and you lose 12 units or 13 units before your speed's even done, well, now, even if he did start making Marines, you'd still have to make Zerglings, which is really bad because it means you've played a really inefficient early game. Like, look at that spine. It poked him one time and he just ran right by it. Poked him one more time and he ran right by it. He doesn't even give a shit about the spine. He honestly doesn't even have to go that direction. He could come from here, too. So, like, for instance, your spine covers this area, but he can still go here or here. The creep is so much more important than a spine crawler. And if you have creep too, you know what that also does for you? It allows you to take a 3rd base. Okay, you're making creep now. I'm very proud of you. He lost 1 Reaper there, and he killed a bunch of lings again. Not ideal. Now he's going to go here. That's exactly what we talked about. Okay, that was a huge fuck up by him right there. But you see how the spine did nothing? You see, like, I get that. My biggest argument is the spine is a piece of shit. You do not need it. You don't want it. People always make it. Don't fucking make it. You only ever make it if you're going gasless and you have no choice to make other than you'll never have speedlings. So you're like, I have to make queens and spines, otherwise I'm dead. So spine sucks balls. The way that explains why ViBE is so heated. I know I get pretty passionate when I coach people in this game. I'm not, but yeah, I don't know. I get super into it. Yeah, spine's garbage. Just stop making that shit against this. If you're gonna go speed, you don't need that spine. But now look at your main base. So much more power here in your main base because you made one creep tumor. Now this whole area is so much harder for Reapers to do anything. Imagine, remember how we said like, what was it, like 255? I think was what the time was. 255. You could have made a creep tumor there. Imagine how many more times you could have spread it since then. That creep tumor could probably be like fucking there by now. Realistically. Like if you do it every time he's not there, you squeeze another one in. It's only 11 seconds. 11 seconds of him not being there. Pff, another tumor. Another tumor. And imagine if you had creep all the way to up here. Your third base would be so easy to take. And a 3-base Zerg is formidable against a 2-base Terran who just Reaper pressured you, who is now going into Stimpack Marines. But that was a huge fuck up by him. He lost a lot of Reapers there. But here's the thing, right? Again, do you know he's expanded? Look at your production. Let's watch your production for a second. Okay, so you just made some lings. You made a bunch of lings. And this is before the Reapers have died. You made a bunch of lings. You made your started drones. And then you make. You assumed it was an expansion because you've never seen 5 racks? Okay. Well, I mean, you're right. The way you made drones right now is correct. You didn't confirm it, but you do see the Marines at least. That's nice. So you at least know you at least know for sure that he transitioned. So that's good. But yeah, like the 5 racks version is a real fucking thing. That will kill you at some point if you never ever scout it. Someone will do that to you and you'll be like, what the fuck? So many Reapers? And if you drone it all against that, you'd literally die. Until you kill the Reapers. You have to let him kill himself and then you go beyond that. So far, you've had I would say this, so far up to this point in the game, you've had a less efficient early game than you would have liked. You could have had a 3rd base that is done right now, or almost done, depending on how comfortable you would have taken it, like how comfortable you would have felt when you took it. You could have also had more creep than you do. Right now you have 1 tumor. So your creep, your 3rd base, your lack of 3rd base, and also now your you know, your fucking, what's it called? It's like lack of drones through ling death, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you've lost 32 units. So there's a lot less drones than you would have liked to have had. You have fucking 23 drones in his 28 SCVs. That is not ideal. So, long story short, what you want to do, proper defense. Don't make a spine. Make queen Zergling. Double creep tumor. After you do an initial double creep tumor, you do not need to make creep tumors anymore. You can make your extra queen make creep tumors. So like queen number 3 or queen number 4, that queen can make creep tumors. So you just make 1 creep tumor, both queens right away, and then you when you can not let it die, and then you go back into injecting your hatcheries. This allows you, at the very least, you have to make at least 1 creep tumor. If you go double inject, that sucks ass. How many lings would you build before speed? Okay, here's how I would do it. If I saw 3 racks Reaper, I would make an initial about 8 Zerglings right away. Instead of making 4, I'd make probably around 8. And then I would make drones. I would make probably 4 drones behind that. Like 4 drones. Just squeeze in a few more drones. And then I would go right back into making lings. And this, you got to realize, these lings are not going to pop out super fast because you're not injecting. So when I get ready to start going back into making lings, it's already going to be that moment in the game where my speed is already going to, like, as soon as I inject my hatchery, my speed is going to be like halfway done. And then when the inject pops off the hatchery, my speed is going to be like 15 seconds from being done. Or like 20 seconds from being done. And as soon as I make all those injected lings, you only have to wait literally within 10 seconds, and then suddenly speed's done. So you don't want to also just only make lings the entire time. But the point of the whole big point of this is you also don't want to lose your existing lings like really sloppy, like how you kind of lost them on the high ground. You don't want to fucking do that. You want your queens to be the main ones that push the Reapers around. That's why I was saying, if you did not, if the Terran is sloppy, and this is a huge part, I'll say it one more time. If the Terran is sloppy and they run into your base with the first 1 or 2 Reapers and they lose a Reaper, you can go queen and then make a 3rd queen and stop for now, and make a 4th queen much later, and you can focus instead on like a faster 3rd base because you have control easier that way. Because Reaper count is something that when it's low, it's so easy to punish with queens. When it gets higher, you need speedlings to deal with it. So if the fucking if the Reaper gets in your base and does not die, if the Terran's a good player and he like keeps the Reapers alive, and he maybe even worse, he does damage to you and still keeps the Reapers alive, that's when you need to go 4 queens immediately right away. That way you can actually cover with multiple queens in the doorways, not just 1 queen. That's huge because that makes the difference of you losing a bunch of lings or being able to actually hold the door. You're going to Hodor that shit with queens instead of Zerglings. You do not want your lings to fight unless it's like a high ground area, or unless he goes really deep in your mineral line. If he's not here or not here, your lings should not be fighting. And both of these locations should also be covered in creep. Like, you do not want your lings to be over here and fighting him over here or some shit. You do not want to be out of creep, like away from your creep. Ever. Until your speed's done. And even then, you kind of want to let him like run on creep and then you kill him. Hey, dude, your lack of creep is like crazy. You taking a 3rd base? Bane Nest is good. Bane Nest is good because if this guy decided to push you with SCVs and bio, or if he decided to just straight up do a bio push with Stimpack, and you just straight up try to tech the tier 2 and don't even have a Bane Nest, there's a good chance he'll die. So Bane Nest is pretty important here. You're taking a layer, you're taking a Bane Nest, and double Evo. I don't know how much I agree with this. I would say this is like the concept of what you're giving yourself is okay if the whole reason why you're going to go layer is only for Bane speed. If you make a Spire or if you make a Hydroden, I disagree with what you just did. You cannot afford Baneling speed with Banelings with 1/1 with tech. You have to take one of those out. So, and you can't take Banes out. Banes are mandatory. So, if you go layer and you're going to make like Hydras or Spire, you have to fucking not, you cannot afford upgrades right now. Going 1/1 is no go. I would say delay that until after his first push and then go 1/1. We'll see what you do. Again, if it's just 1/1 and Bane speed, then that's fine. Because then you're just making Massling Bane. And you could afford that. Okay, so he's walking out with a bunch of Marines. Oh, yeah. So you started 1/1. Your layer's done. This is the scary part, because if he pushes you, 1/1 is not going to be done, and you don't have Banelings. Also, you don't have Bane speed, and if you're also not going to wait for Bane speed, I feel like you're just going to die. Like, Even the upgrades, I would say, are pushing it. And the reason why the upgrades are even pushing it is because you've lost so much in the early game. You're not in a great spot. Like, the whole point of what you want to have before the follow-up happens is you want to have fucking Banes. Banes are mandatory. Upgrades are optional. Tech is optional. Banes are mandatory. And that's really it. So adding things on after Banes is better. And another thing that's really bad for you is your creep sucks. Like, your creep should be so much further out than it is at almost 7 minutes. And it's just because, again, you didn't even start spreading creep until like 4 minutes in the game. You should have started spreading it double tumor right away. So that was a huge blunder, a huge oversight. So, like, your creep should be like all the way to this ramp already. At your third base, like if you go down to the ramp, like diagonal from the third, creep should be like going up this ramp right now. If you go to your natural and you go down, creep should be at not only the destructible rocks in the middle, on the like the grassy area, like the rock should already be covered in creep, but you should have creep also touching the rocks like on the south side as well. Like, you should have a full screen length of creep essentially in front of every part of creep that you have right now. Essentially is what I'm saying. Like, if you took your whole screen and just did like a whole wave on the side of your creep, the perimeter of it, it should all be creep as well. So you're missing out on like 2 minutes of creep spread essentially, which is huge. And now he shows up with Marines and medevacs. If you had Banes right now, and Queens and Lings, you could also, if you didn't lose 33 units early on to deal with the Reapers, you could actually surround this army on creep. Your Banes could force him to lift on medevacs, and he won't lose anything because he's a pretty good player, so I imagine he won't get hit by Banes. He'll load in medevacs and he'll fly away and he'll reset and do it again. That buys you time to get Bane speed. Like coming up more and more and more. Once Bane speed is done, it's really fucking hard for Terran to do little pokes like this on creep. Then it comes down to Terran like killing your creep and receding it more than pushing on top of it. So no Banes at all and no Bane speed with a fast layer so you've invested 100 gas in the layer, 250 gas into the upgrade, so 350 gas in total has been invested into shit that's not going to do anything for you right now. Imagine if that was Banes with army right now. Or imagine if instead of going for a layer, you just went straight up 1-1 Bane only, so no layer at all. And instead of going 3 gas, you only went like 2 gas. So you had a little bit more money freed up to make units with. Like, there's other ways you could have dealt with this in a way that, like, you're just hitting this weird awkward timing where you're just like getting caught with your pants off and you're gonna die now. He's gonna butt fuck you essentially. You just dropped the soap in the prison shower, essentially. The hugest thing of all, too, one of the huge things, other than your creep is really the biggest thing. One of the biggest things, though, that you fucked up on is your third was so late. Your third was so fucking late. If you're not confident... So, here's the thing. If you're not confident against the Reapers, you could proxy a third somewhere else. Or, if you're going to rush a layer as a response to it, you can proxy a third somewhere else. Both of those would be fine for those reasons. If you're going to stay on hatchery tech a little bit longer and do something like double Evo hatchery tech and go for 1-1 Lings and then a Bane nest with slow Banes for a little while, having a straight up third in your third base is totally fine. If I did have Banes here, is this playable? Or am I still too far behind? You're already pretty far behind. And the reason, it's not because, you're not behind because of the fact that he's got Marines here that can kill you right now and you have no Banes. And even if you had Banes, it would still be hard. That's not why you're behind. You are behind because you got yourself in a situation where you had to make so many more fucking Lings than you wanted to, and you've been trailing the worker count the entire game so far. You have had always somewhere in the range of like 5 to 10 drones less than your opponent. Like right now you're catching up again a bit more because you just made drones again. But you've always had less drones than he's had SCVs. And the reason why is because it started ever since it was right here. When your slow Lings fought Reapers on the high ground and you just threw away a bunch of Lings. And then you lost a Queen. And then it just started spiraling out of control from there. Because you have fucking a shitload of units lost already. But he has no third. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a third. It doesn't matter. What's happening right now is that you're getting yourself pushed into like. You got to realize something. If he doesn't have a third, it just means he's going to push you even harder. So you could win if he loses everything. If he just like does a sloppy ass fucking engagement and he's like, oh whoops, I just lost all my Marines to a few Banelings. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whoop, my bad. Then yeah, you have a chance. But if your opponent does not have a third base, it just means he's going to attack you even more, which means it's going to give you no room at all to build drones. And if you're already behind in drones, you're going to be pressured until you die, because you're never going to be able to outproduce the Terran. Why can you not outproduce the Terran? Because if you already have less drones than SCVs, a drone and an SCV mine at the same pace either way, but then he also has mules. And it means that he's going to be producing Marines at a faster pace than you can produce Zerglings. And if you ever stop producing Zerglings at this stage of the game, you automatically die. So the only way you come out of this position is if you're not behind in economy, or if he makes a big mistake. And he did already make a big mistake with those Reapers. There was no reason why he needed to lose those like that. He kind of like blew himself over to the right with a grenade, and then suddenly you surrounded a bunch of the Reapers and killed them, which was super nice that happened for you. But it doesn't even mean that you win the game from there, because you've been behind in economy the entire time, because your initial reaction to Reaper overall was not great for all the reasons we talked about. So you've been behind in economy, which means, again, you will never come out ahead in this situation. He will force you to make lings, and you will slowly die, because he has more economy than you. Anyways, Warlock, you have any questions about anything? I know you're in the game. You have any questions about whatever we just talked about? Otherwise, that's gonna be it for this one. Follow the double creep tumor, no spine crawler. That's huge. I always assumed inject. Do not inject. You will have such bad trades with your Zerglings if you inject. If you make a creep tumor, because here's the thing. The biggest reason of all why you want to do a creep tumor is not because you want to engage the Reapers with your Lings. That's only a bonus if his Reapers decide to really shove and like try to push forward, and he's like, I'm going to kill you really fast. And he just like pushes the Reapers to their limit, essentially. But what the creep really is for is it's to not... like, your Overlords give you vision, so that's why... that's not about vision. Overlords can do that too. But it's to allow your Queens to always be in a good position to zone out the Reapers. And what that does is it buys you time to not have to engage Reapers with slow Lings. And then your Lings finally get speed, and then then you have all your Lings, and you can surround the Reapers and kill them super easy peasy. Because if you have a creep tumor down, and the Reapers actually chase you all the way on creep. If you have creep all the way out here, like all the way, like again, I'm green boxing the screen right now, so you'd have to see my stream to see this. But if you have creep in front of your natural, more than what the hatchery itself provides, and then your Queens are standing like where the dead bodies are, and they start running backwards and running backwards and running backwards, and by the time you get, let's say your Queens are now where the Marines are, and then his Reapers are kind of chasing you deeper into this. If your Lings wrap around the back of the Reapers and try to like get somewhat of a surround, there's a chance you could potentially surround the Reapers, or he starts running away and then he runs away and whatever. And that's also why if you don't kill early Reapers and he is good at maintaining them, you make multiple Queens faster so that you can transfuse yourself if need be. And if the Terran is really good at losing Reapers, let's just say by the time you have 4 Queens, okay, this is the final piece I didn't say, but I will say this. By the time you have 4 Queens, if the Terran player is good and he still has not yet lost a Reaper, go to 6 Queens. And then those 4 Queens, all they do is they become base defense with transfuse. Because by the time you have 6 Queens, your speed will be done. Guaranteed. But if he's not that great at Reapers and he loses one here and there and here and there, and you've killed like up to 3 Reapers by the time your speed's about to finish, you don't really need to make 6 Queens. You can get away with 4. What did you say? You said the spine is probably a bad habit because 5k Terrans who do this build push into it. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. There's no need to make a spine for the because the Terran doesn't even have to engage it. They can just go around it, and all it does is it slows down the rest of your defense. I mean, I'm not gonna say the spine is stupid. It's not like it's worthless. It definitely makes it harder for that one location to be penetrated into. But if you're playing a map that has multiple entrances into your base, bad spine crawler, not good. If for whatever reason this was a map and there was only one entrance into the base, there was like no back door for Reapers to jump in, it was just one entrance, then a spine crawler might be okay because the spine crawler is like the only way he gets into your base, and now that spine crawler suddenly, you know, helps. Does that make sense? Having multiple entrances in your base and you're investing in a static D into only one of those entrances is going to make a harder, it's going to put more pressure on your queens and on your lings. What if he creep spread and put the spine in one of the cliffs? There's multiple entrances. It's the same thing I just said. If there's one entrance, spine's okay. If there's multiple entrances, if you block door number 1 and door number 2 and 3 are still open, all that does is it puts more pressure on door number 2 and 3. Because you guys got to realize something. If you make static D, that's not free. It makes you not only lose a drone to mine minerals with, but it also is a cost itself. It makes you not able to spend that 100 minerals as well. It lowers your Zergling count or your queen count, one or the other, whatever you're deciding to make more of at that time. And it means the Reapers have a higher chance to break the other door, essentially. If the Terran micros well, he can 100% kill queens with Reapers. So making just like a queen and a spine is not going to cut it once he has like 7 Reapers. But yeah, I hope this makes sense. I hope this makes sense. If none of it makes sense, just listen to it again. And because I mean, all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to literally re-explain everything we just explained. So Warlock, good shit. Thanks for submitting a GM level Reaper versus Zerg scenario. I actually haven't done one of these yet, right? Like this high of a level. So thanks for submitting it, dude. I do appreciate it a lot. Much love. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys liked it yourselves. Zerg players out there who want to learn how to deal with Reapers better. Hopefully this helps you understand Reaper better. And yeah, much love, guys. Until next time, I'll see you then. And good luck. Peace out. Bye, guys.